evening, everyone, and welcome to Harrisburg City Council Legislative Session. My name is Wanda R.D. Williams, the president. Today is Tuesday, December 17, 2019. At this time, I'm calling the meeting to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Mr. Petrosky, please do the roll call.
Mr. Allett?
Present.
Ms. Bowers?
Present.
Ms. Daniels?
Here.
Ms. Green?
Present.
Mr. Madsen?
Here.
Mr. Majors?
Here.
Ms. Williams?
Here. Thank you. Moving on to the invocation, Councilwoman Bowers.
Thank you, President Williams. I would like us to all take a moment of silence to please keep the Woolfolk family in your prayers, and also for everyone to have a safe and happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bowers. Moving on to Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Alec. We have a full crowd tonight, and we recognize that we have a lot of family here who may want to take pictures regarding their loved one. So what we're going to do is do the recognition, and afterwards we're going to take a recess so that they will have time to take additional pictures. Moving on to communications, we now will go on to the recognition of City Council's Unsung Heroes. Again, good evening, everyone. At this time, we are very delighted to be able to recognize 4 outstanding citizens tonight. We are so very pleased to be able to initiate a positive award that's associated with our community that recognizes people who work selfishly behind the scenes to make a positive impact within our city. And so, we are so very blessed to have these individuals as a part of our community. We will be presenting these individuals with a recognition, which reads, "In appreciation of the achievements that have earned you the title of Unsung Hero and the admiration of the people of the great city of Harrisburg. The behind-the-scenes work you do does not go unnoticed. This award goes to citizens like you who modestly make a difference, not for recognition, but for the good. Additionally, you all will be presented with a custom City of Harrisburg watch that has City of Harrisburg Unsung Hero engraved on the back. And this is the watch. With that being said, I will begin with my nomination, who I chose to receive this award, Pastor Leah Payne. Pastor Leah S. Payne currently is employed by Christian Churches United and Help Ministries as a client service coordinator. She was selected by CCU and Help Ministries to represent them at various community information events. She sits on the Mission Task Force Committee charged with assisting the board in updating their vision statements. She is the founding pastor of In His Presence Ministries and hosted the First Responders Radio Show for 3 years. She hosts a free annual community event in Harrisburg, which I was a part of this year, and we did about 400 people all day long, called the Fall Harvest Event, which takes place at the Emerald Street Playground, serving over 300 residents. She was a weekly volunteer at the program, which is a program that serves as a volunteer chaplain with Pinnacle Health. She has cooked, served, and delivered over 400 turkey meal platters to residents in the Harrisburg area since 2015. She is a volunteer and a supporter of the Susquehanna Haven Safe Harbor Men's Shelter, where she spends the night during the colder months to engage and console the men there. She assists local churches with counseling, funeral, and wedding services. She was the former owner of God's Angels Daycare, caring for the needs of children from 6 weeks to school age. Pastor Payne is a lifelong resident of the city of Harrisburg. She is the mother of 4 adult children, Vanessa, Rush, Brianna, and Caleb, and has 7 grandchildren and 1 on the way. Congratulations. I now present to you, Harrisburg, Pastor Leah Payne. Would you please come up, Pastor Payne? The council members, please give her a standing. Moving on to our next unsung hero, Councilwoman Bowers.
Thank you, President Williams. Good evening, everyone. I have the honor to introduce my nominee, Miss Johnsy Silas. I nominated Miss Johnsy because I truly feel that she embodies an unsung hero within the city of Harrisburg. Miss Johnsy Silas is a Harrisburg native. She is a 1956 graduate of William Penn Senior High School, a graduate of Adele Reed School of Cosmetology in Philadelphia, where she received top honors for styling and coloring. Miss Johnsy is the owner and operator of Johnsy's Beauty Salon, located at 1320 Fulton Street, for over 60 years.
Wow.
In the community, with the assistance of Mr. Rodman Bartman and the Tuesday Club, she hosted Salute to Beauty on October 7th, 1979, honoring 39 Black beauticians in Harrisburg and Steelton. The Tuesday Club was comprised of a group of patrons who congregated on Tuesdays at Johnsy's Beauty Salon. The club had an interest in promoting future education of B and C students. The Salute to Beauty event honored local beauticians while providing 2 high school seniors with $500 scholarships. Ms. Johnsy's day off is Monday. However, she visits the hospitals and nursing homes to bring a bit of cheer to family, friends, and customers. During the summer, on her day off, she works at Hershey Park. Her salary is donated to the Methodist Center in Harrisburg, where she attended kindergarten. For over 20 years, during the Christmas holidays, Miss Johnsy rang the bell for the Salvation Army. Upon the passing of her customers or friends, she leaves a signature red rose in their casket. Ms. Johnsy sends birthday cards annually to family, friends, and other community members. For over 40 years, Ms. Johnsy has been affiliated with Bethel AME Church. It is my honor to present to some and introduce to others Ms. Johnsy Silas, 2019 Unsung Hero.
Thank you, Councilwoman Bowers. We'll now move on to Councilman Maston.
Good evening and happy holidays, everyone. It's with distinct pleasure and great honor that I nominate Tannen Herman and his team at Wild Heart Ministries for the 2019 Unsung Hero Award. And if you know Tannen, he's a really humble guy, so he wouldn't say it's just him. It's his entire community in South Allison Hill that's rallied together to do some tremendous community service projects, and his entire team at New Hope Ministries. I've personally gone to a few events over the past year and seen him assemble a little mini army that goes out and removes trash from blighted buildings and does other several beautification projects in the South Allison Hill community. And while they've earned a lot of earned media attention, it was important to me and my colleagues that we gave them the distinction of a formal award from Harrisburg City Council. And so with great pleasure, I'd like to nominate Tannen Herman and his team at Wild Heart for the 2019 Unsung Hero Award. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you, Councilman Madsen. Moving on, Councilwoman Green.
Thank you, President Williams, and thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight. Today, I have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing to you Mr. Ralph Rodriguez. As is quite obvious for many in the community, Mr. Rodriguez needs absolutely no introduction. Ralph is known for being on the front lines, volunteering in the Harrisburg community. Whether he's volunteering in the schools, feeding the homeless, mentoring the youth, or just helping those in need, you can see the genuine spirit in everything that he does. Ralph is known for his events that he hosts, such as coat drives for those in need to make sure that no one goes without. Ralph has also hosted a holiday event where he ensures those less fortunate in the community don't go without toys during the holiday. What started as a small event has blossomed into an event that could rival those that legends are made of. And the most important part is that it's all genuine, it all comes from the heart. So today I'd like to introduce, I don't even know what words to explain all that he does in our community, but I'd like to take the time to say thank you and truly introduce an unsung hero in the Harrisburg community, Mr. Ralph Rodriguez.
Thank you, Councilwoman Green. As you see, there's so many unsung heroes in the city of Harrisburg. And please note that we will be doing this same recognition award in June. So if you know of anyone, please look on our website at City Council and put the application in. We would like to certainly acknowledge those unsung heroes who we don't know, who unselfishly do work in this community. Now moving on, we're going to have recess because, of course, we know everyone wants to take pictures. So we will take a 10-minute recess. We're now going to courtesy of the floor. Anyone at this time would like to come to the mic, please do so now. I will start at my right. Okay, no one would like to speak? Okay, moving on to the middle. That's okay. To my left. Oh, wonderful.
You got one?
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, Mr. Ford, here you go. We don't have the money yet.
It's funny you should mention that.
I know you're going to talk about it.
Funny you should mention that.
Okay.
Les Ford, 2033 Bellevue Road, Harrisburg. First, I would like to thank your sound technicians for really getting the sound system together. Even I can hear, so my wife can no longer accuse me of not understanding what's being said because of my hearing. That does happen as you get older, we understand that, but you all have taken a significant step in correcting that issue for senior citizens. Speaking of senior citizens, I'm here to speak on behalf of the Heinz Medeker Senior Center once again. I had no particular agenda when I thought about coming to this meeting, but it just so happened that yesterday I got a letter that I felt obliged to share with the government of the city of Harrisburg, in that it is your charge to care for even the least of those among us. This letter is from the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. We deal with them week in and week out. They provide the foodstuffs that we distribute to the community. If you know anything about engineering, either traffic or data and electronic engineering, it is often said that the last mile is the most difficult step to engineer, the most expensive and the most difficult. So we are involved in distributing food the last mile. The letter reads, Dear Les and Joanne Schreffler is my assistant. Earlier this year, Susquehanna United Methodist Church Conference closed 10 of their churches within Dauphin County. This closing has caused several of our partner agencies to either cease operations or move to new locations. Because of these changes, some agencies, including yours, have seen increases in the number of families being served this fiscal year, and I can attest that we have seen a significant increase in the last 3 months. As Central Pennsylvania Food Bank prepares initial allocations for SFPP this year, we proactively, and I want you to focus on that, proactively reserved funds to allocate halfway through the year to help agencies such as yours offset the cost associated with serving the additional clients you are seeing walk through your doors. They go on to say that they have allocated an additional $1,500, but that's $1,500 in food stuff. It is significant and appropriate that you're honoring volunteers today, because we have a pool of volunteers who deliver that last mile. Sometimes they have to walk. Most of the time, 2 go out per day. That's 10 people per week to deliver food directly to families, both these and our Meals on Wheels. So let me get back to the SFPP. They allocated $1,500. That's $1,500 of foodstuffs that we will get into the center. But we have to put that out with families. So families come through our door, we've seen increased traffic, so the need continues. In addition to the food pantry, for those of you who don't know, we serve Meals on Wheels. We are the largest distributor of Meals on Wheels that is affiliated with the Senior Citizen Walk-In Center. We serve between 43 and 45 meals daily. That's Meals on Wheels. That's putting them out that last mile. That accounts for approximately 200 meals a week. So we do that 52 weeks a year. In the 9 years that I've been there, I can brag that we've only missed 1 day due to foul weather. Okay, so that's a lot of meals going out there. In addition to that, there's senior box programs. So what I'm trying to emphasize is that I am encouraging the city to be proactive in supporting that effort going into the next year. We've missed the first quarter of the federal fiscal year. We know that. But there are 3 quarters left, and the need will not diminish. And I'm entreating the city of Harrisburg and the city council and administration to take this seriously. We do serious work. We've been at it for over 40 years, and I would like to have that relationship, that partnership with the city continue. We are relying on it, not just us, but the citizens in the city of Harrisburg. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Ford. Anyone else to my left? Moving on to approval of minutes. Approval of the legislative session minutes of November the 26th, 2019. Council members, are there any omissions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, minutes will stand approved. Moving on to reports of committee. Report from Chair Allett on the budget meetings of December 10th and 12th. Mr. Allett, are you ready with your report?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Pull my notes together. We had 2 budget hearings held on December 10th and December 12th to discuss the proposed 2020 budget, which is reflected in Bill 14 as well as Bill 15 in terms of the tax levies. Also up for discussion at those meetings, as I pull my notes out, was Resolution 93 and also Resolution 96. Resolution 96, I'll start with that, was a resolution of the City Council approving the provisions of a term sheet to modify and amend the second amended and restated settlement agreement between the City of Harrisburg and AMBAC Assurance Corporation. This has been a joint priority between Council and the administration to negotiate and deal with AMBAC and to resolve some debt. So there is some terms that are on the table that Council will ratify and that will be taken back to be further approved on and negotiated on behalf of the city with AMBAC. The deal would provide some discount services to the city if we paid down the debt quicker than had initially been prescribed, giving the city some more leverage to pay down that debt in a quicker fashion, and therefore, in doing so, would provide some longer-term stability to our operating expenses in terms of having that debt reduction go into place. I encourage my colleagues to support this resolution and know that that would take the administration back to negotiate the final deal. Getting back to the budget specifically, we had a very good budget hearing over the course of the 2 days. And in terms of, which I can't believe I'm saying this, after 5 years of doing this, we've had a lively discussion, and I think there's general agreement about the priorities within the budget moving forward. There's some significant changes that I think that are important for people to note. One is that we've had an updated and approved contract with FOP, which has a significant impact to our budget by offering our law enforcement and public safety professionals some additional steps and increases in their salary at a quicker rate that will hopefully provide an improved retention among our law enforcement because that has continued to be a problem over the last few years, and we're hoping that will address it. One thing I always like to point out that it is often costlier to replace somebody than it is just to have somebody be with us in the long term. So part of that agreement, while we might have some significant spend to allocate from a budgetary perspective, the long-term benefit will be good for the city. Additionally, one thing I want to make my colleagues and the community aware of, we have last year, as part of the budget process, we passed a resolution requiring a general fund balance that is a requirement going forward. We did that in an effort to protect the money that we have that we engage in the city and to prevent us from going too far into our coffers to put us in a untenable or perhaps a bad situation for the city. The proposed 2020 budget is significant in the expectation of drawing down from that general fund. We fully suspect and expect that at the conclusion of this year that our general fund would have about $24 million in it. As part of the proposed budget, we will see a significant drawdown of that general fund to pay for capital improvement projects. You will not get an argument from any of us on council or in the administration that the needs are lengthy within the city. And what many people probably do not realize that because of the situation that we've been in as a result of Act 47, the city is unable to borrow funds to pay for projects. As a result, if we are paying for projects, we are doing so out of our own general fund. So we are going to take a significant hit from the general fund to pay for some capital improvement projects, as well as some allocation to be able to use for the settlement of the AMBAC funds. So that is significant. In conversations with the Finance Department, I've asked what the proposed general fund would look like at the conclusion of 2020, so think 1 year from now, and the expectation is that we'd have about $15.6 million in the general fund. So I wanted to share that with my colleagues. One, so you're aware and you're cognizant of the fact that we will take a significant step to use these funds. Number two, that obviously a big portion of that is going to capital improvements as well as debt resolution, which have been priorities among council and the administration. But lastly, realize that our ability and the reason why we must do that is because we are not in the position to borrow. And so that's what puts us in that position. So I say that just to make everybody fully aware as we move forward with putting the budget up for vote this year, that is what we're looking at. So I therefore conclude my.
Thank you, Mr. Allett. Moving on, a report from Chair Green on the budget meeting of December 10th. Councilwoman Green.
Thank you, President Williams. There were two resolutions discussed, one on December 3rd and one on December 10th. The first resolution was Resolution 91, which is a resolution authorizing the submission of an application to the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board to exempt a specific area of the city of Harrisburg from the Liquor Control Board's regulations regarding amplified music being heard off the licensed premises in favor of enforcing the city's adopted noise ordinance. This would allow the city to police its own downtown area, since majority of the area is covered from this resolution is downtown, to ensure that the businesses in that area are able to operate functionally. We heard from a local business owner in favor of this resolution. Also, we had a discussion about Resolution 95, which is a resolution for the city of Harrisburg to ratify the 2020 to 2025 collective bargaining agreement between the city of Harrisburg and the Fraternal Order of Police, Capital City Lodge Number 12. This resolution will allow us to recruit and retain new officers, as well as to retain our senior officers. It goes in the right direction to making sure our officers are compensated and can operate in the city of Harrisburg and live comfortably. So I ask my colleagues to vote in favor of both of these resolutions, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councilwoman Green. Moving on to report from Chair Majors on the budget meeting of December 12th. Councilman Majors.
Thank you, President Williams. So we'll be covering public works items from a work session on December 3rd as well as December 12th. The December 12th work session, we discussed Bill 13 of 2019, an ordinance enacting an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the City of Harrisburg and the Borough of Steelton to allow the City of Harrisburg to provide municipal solid waste and recycling collection and disposal services to the residents of the Borough of Steelton and to establish such terms of services. This is a continuation. Back in July of 2019, the City of Harrisburg entered into an initial agreement with the Borough of Steelton to do their sanitate their trash collection and recycling services. This is formalizing that agreement. There were some additional terms that just needed to be worked out between the Borough of Steelton and the City of Harrisburg. Those terms were agreed to, and I am asking my colleagues to move forward and support Bill 13 of 2019. Additionally, on the December 3rd meeting, we discussed Resolution 78 of 2019, a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a service contract with Penn Waste to continue to serve the city's single-stream recycling disposal service. This is a change to the contract. The recycling markets, the cost for recycling has increased, so there was a increase from $35 to $50 a ton in terms of the collection rate that Penn Waste charges for the recycling for the City of Harrisburg. Outside of that, no other terms in our contract have changed. So I'm asking my colleagues to support Resolution 78 of 2019. Lastly, there was Resolution 86 of 2019, a resolution authorizing the city to negotiate and enter into a supplement to a professional services agreement with Daewoo Engineering for the purpose of providing additional engineering services for the Mulder Square transportation enhancements. This resolution, as they were working on the project, there were some additional scope of work that needed to be done. So this is just providing that the city to enter in and negotiate those fees for the additional work that's going to be done on the Mulder Square project. And I'd ask my colleagues to be supportive of Resolution 86. And with that, that concludes my report. Thank you, President
Thank you,
Williams.
Mr. Majors. Moving on to ordinance of first reading, we have none this evening. Moving on to ordinance for amendment, we have none. Moving on to ordinance for final passage. Mr. Petrosky, please read Bill 13, 2019, in your record.
Bill 13 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Majors, second by Mr. Allett. It's an ordinance enacting an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the City of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and the Borough of Steelton, Pennsylvania, to allow the City of Harrisburg to provide municipal solid waste and recycling collection and disposal services to the residents of the Borough of Steelton and to establish the terms of such services.
Madam President,
Yes.
I just wish to confirm for the body that we received word today that the Borough of Steelton last night adopted the identical ordinance and approved the agreement.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grover. Council members, any additional questions on Bill 13?
No questions, but just a comment. And I just
Okay.
want to, again, this was a creative partnership that the mayors and the administration and our public works staff worked out with the Borough of Steelton to be able to provide them with excellent service, I would say, from our public works folks. And this agreement goes until June 30th, 2024. So just want to thank the administration, thank Public Works for the hard work that they do, and hopefully that this collaboration and shows that governments can work together moving forward. So with that, I just want to ask everyone to support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Majors. Any additional questions or comments on Bill 13? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Madsen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Bill 13 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Bill 14.
Bill 14 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Allett, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's an ordinance establishing the budget for the municipal government of the City of Harrisburg for the year 2020.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
No.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Madsen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Bill 14 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Bill 15.
Bill 15 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Allett, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's an ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Harrisburg, Title V, Licensing and Taxation, Part 5, Real Estate Taxes, Chapter 5-501, Property Tax by establishing for the year 2020 and tax levy on land and improvements and providing for a distribution of taxes levied and assessed and providing for a tax rebate for the difference between the tax due and attributable to the year 2020 tax levy over the tax due and attributable to year 2006 tax levy for qualifying senior citizens.
Any additional questions, comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Madsen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Bill 15 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to resolutions. Please read Resolution 76 of 2019 in the record.
Resolution 76 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Green, seconded by Mr. Allett. It's a resolution approving the preliminary final land development and plan submitted by Peter File on behalf of WHRE LLC to construct a medical marijuana dispensary in the City of Harrisburg at 137 South 17th Street.
At this time, Mr. Maston would like to make a comment.
Yes, thank you, President Williams. Just a point of clarification for the record and the public. The resolution was delayed for a formal vote, and the reason for the delay was some community leaders had reached out to council and wanted clarification in terms of the applicant's approval by the state. We asked for a formal response from the state in terms of whether or not the project was in compliance. We did get some answers, but not all. However, in terms of due to the time sensitivity, we had to move forward with the resolution, and the project or resolution is in compliance with all of the city's ordinances and rules, and therefore I recommend that it be approved.
Any additional questions and comments, council members? Mr.
Yeah.
Majors?
Yeah, and I would note that so we've had a lot of discussion, and there's been a lot of community meetings regarding this facility. And again, we have to be mindful of what our authority is as members of city council to be able to have any impact on the facility. I would encourage members of the public to, if you have concerns, to continue to raise those not only to the applicant, but with the Department of Health, which oversees medical marijuana for the state of Pennsylvania. As a city, we do not have direct oversight of the siting of these facilities, whether or not, where they decide to locate, even the exemptions that they get, those are all things that happen at the state level. the state, if you go to the Department of Health's website and go to medical marijuana, you can find all of the rules, regulations, and things to be able to continue to hold those folks accountable for either facility for the facility that is on 6th Street in Harrisburg and this one that we're voting on now. So I'd encourage people to continue to stay engaged, and if you have any concerns, to please continue to bring them to council and then to the Department of Health.
I have a comment as well.
Okay,
I
Ms. Bowers.
understand our role is limited, and should this pass, I'm hopeful that the company will be good neighbors to the residents within the South Allison Hill area. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, council members, for your comments and for clarification to the public. I concur with all three of you, my council members. Is there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
No.
Ms. Daniels?
No.
Ms. Green?
No.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 76 passes.
Moving on to Resolution 78 of 2019.
Resolution 78 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Williams, seconded by Ms. Green. It's a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a service contract with Penn Waste, Inc. to continue to serve as the city's single-stream recycling disposal service.
Any additional questions or comments on Resolution 78, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 78 passes.
Moving on to Resolution 81, 2019.
Resolution 81 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Daniels, seconded by Ms. Green. It's a resolution ratifying an amendment to a professional services agreement with Thomas J. McLean and Associates, Inc. for the purpose of providing NPDES permit preparation and submission of professional services.
Any additional questions on Resolution 81? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 81 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Resolution 82.
Resolution 82 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Daniels, seconded by Ms. Green. It's a resolution authorizing the city to negotiate and enter into an amendment to a professional services agreement with Thomas J. McLean and Associates, Inc. for the purpose of providing additional professional services for the Chutes and Ladders playground area, including permit preparation, stormwater management plan creation, and ADA accessibility design.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 82 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Resolution 83.
Resolution 83 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Bowers, seconded by Mr. Allett. It's a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a professional services agreement with Civitas LLC for the purpose of providing professional services to the city's Department of Building, Housing, and Development, including but not limited to technical assistance and general consulting services for IDS functions, compliance management, action plan assistance, CAPER assistance, NEPA, ER technical assistance, and FFATA reports.
Any additional questions or comments, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 83 passes.
Moving on to Resolution 84.
Resolution 84 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Mattson, seconded by Ms. Bowers. It's a resolution approving the lot consolidation and preliminary final land development plan submitted by Kevin Murphy on behalf of AutoZone Development to construct a new AutoZone retail store.
And Mr. Mattson has additional comments on Resolution 84.
Yes, thank you, President Williams. We had multiple discussions regarding this resolution with the applicant and added the following conditions to the resolution. The final land development plan will remove the North 7th Street access driveway to the property. Applicant shall submit at least 4 full-size copies of the revised land development plan to the city, which reflects the removal of the North 7th Street access driveway and is substantially similar to the December 16, 2019 revised site plan. Attached hereto is Exhibit I. Part 2, the applicant shall obtain a highway occupancy permit for each and every access driveway or access road pursuant to Section 7511.3 of the zoning code. Clause 3, any obligation on the applicant pursuant to Section 7-513.8 of the zoning code to improve the level of service of the intersection for North 7th Street and McClay Street is waived. Part 4, the final land development plan is conditioned upon City Council's adoption of an ordinance vacating Malt Street between McClay Street and Pfeiffer Street and Mini Alley between McClay Street, Pfeiffer Street, subject to any reasonable conditions, including but not limited to sidewalk improvements along McClay Street attached by City Council.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Mask. Is there any additional comments or questions? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
It should be on the resolution as amended.
I thought she had already done that.
He did it, but I just was
Yeah,
saying.
calling the
No, I
vote for
didn't- yeah,
Resolution
that's-
84 as amended.
Right, okay. I mean, I understand that. but-
I'm just putting it on the record, Madam
All
President.
right, thank you.
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes,
Resolution 84 as amended passes.
thank you. Moving on to Resolution 86.
Resolution 86 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Majors, seconded by Mr. Allett. It's a resolution authorizing the city to negotiate and enter into a supplement to a professional services agreement with Dowwood Engineering, Inc. for the purpose of providing additional engineering services for the Mulder Square transportation enhancements.
Any additional questions or comments on Resolution 86, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 86 passes.
Moving on to Resolution 89.
Resolution 89 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Bowers, seconded by Mr. Mattson. It's a resolution authorizing the city of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a professional services contract with Steve Zimmerman to provide access and service to the city's historical mainframe programming, operations and related services in the Bureau of Information Technology.
Any additional questions or comments on Resolution 89, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes,
Resolution 89 passes.
thank you. Moving on to Resolution 91.
Resolution 91 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Green, seconded by Mr. Mattson. It's a resolution authorizing and approving the submission of an application to the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, the PLCB, to exempt a specific area of the city of Harrisburg from the PLCB's regulation regarding amplified music being heard off the licensed premises in favor of enforcing the city's adopted noise ordinance.
Any additional questions or comments on Resolution 91, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes,
Resolution 91 passes.
thank you. Moving on to Resolution 92.
Resolution 92 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Daniels, seconded by Ms. Green. It's a resolution authorizing the city to negotiate and enter into a professional services agreement with First Capital Engineering, Inc. for the purpose of providing land surveying services in Reservoir Park.
Any additional questions or comments on Resolution 92, council members?
Yes, I just want the record to reflect that the amendment that is included in this resolution is an insertion after the now therefore clause, and the insertion states, be it further resolved that the city is authorized to expend up to $500 in reimbursable expenses pursuant to the proposed agreement. And that's the only amendment to the initial resolution.
Okay. Any other additional questions or comments? Call on Resolution 92 as amended.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes,
Resolution 92 as amended passes.
thank you. Moving on to Resolution 93.
Resolution 93 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Major, seconded by Ms. Daniels. It's a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Harrisburg School District to provide salt to the school district at a price of $90 per ton during the 2019-2020 winter season.
Any questions or comments, council members, on Resolution 93? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 93 passes.
Thank you. Moving on to Resolution 94.
Resolution 94 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Allett, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's a resolution authorizing the City of Harrisburg to negotiate and enter into an agreement with the Harrisburg School District for the collection of business privilege and mercantile tax and the amusement tax for the 2020 tax year.
Any additional questions or comments on Resolution 94, council members? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Mattson?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 94 passes.
Moving on to Resolution 95.
Resolution 95 of 2019 was moved by Ms. Green, seconded by Mr. Madsen. It's a resolution of the Council of the City of Harrisburg ratifying the 2020 to 2025 collective bargaining agreement between the City of Harrisburg and the Fraternal Order of Police, Capital City Lodge Number 12.
Any additional questions, council members, on Resolution 95? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Madsen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 95 passes.
Moving on to Resolution 96.
Resolution 96 of 2019 was moved by Mr. Allett, seconded by Ms. Williams. It's a resolution of the City Council of the City of Harrisburg approving the provisions of a term sheet to modify and amend the second amended and restated settlement agreement between the City of Harrisburg and Ambac Assurance Corporation.
Any additional questions or comments, council members, on Resolution 96? Hearing none, please call the vote.
Mr. Allett?
Yes.
Ms. Bowers?
Yes.
Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Madsen?
Yes.
Mr. Majors?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Resolution 96 passes.
Thank you. Council members, any old business? Moving on to any new business, council members? Okay. I just want to take this opportunity and to the public and tell them that have a very Merry Christmas and a safe and Happy New Year. That goes out to all the administration, City Hall employees, and council members. At this moment, please, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Meeting is officially adjourned.